Hey everybody. So this is going to be more of a walkthrough, not necessarily tutorial, because the pieces that I'm going to be showing and the different parts of this are pretty straightforward. And so I'm going to walk through the pattern along with each of these pieces in order. It's a corset, a hip belt, or a hip corset that comes with some attachments for accessories. And so, yeah, I'm going to start with the corset and talk through the pattern and the pieces, and then we'll kind of proceed to the belt and then to the holsters and attachments next. Okay, let's get started. So first, I should let you know that these are divided in the pattern in the PDF by sizes. So the corset that I'm going to be showing is a medium, and it has a waist of approximately 34 inches. So I'm going to go, but in the upper left-hand corner, you'll notice the different sizes. Okay, and you'll also see. I'll go through that first. I'll go through that in a second here. But I wanted to let you know that the sizes are all labeled throughout each page. Okay. So first, the corset here is a medium, and you're going to notice there's the left back and a right back, and they're labeled. They show you where the orientation is. These are you're going to cut out, and it's going to be one piece. So this is going to be one large piece. You're going to tape those together and then cut it out. If you want to make this into two pieces and stitch this together, you totally can. These are 3/16 grommet holes. I made the side grommet holes a little bit smaller just so that it doesn't stick out too much. It's not too cumbersome. So that's the back side. Let me show you what that looks like here. So here's the back. One piece. Here's the 3/16 grommets with the lacing. But yeah, it's so fairly straightforward. You're going to cut out one piece, punch the holes, put in the grommets. Okay. Let's get on to the next piece. On the front, it's divided into a couple of parts here, and the moons totally optional, but they're there if you want to make something cool out of this. This one doesn't have that, but let's proceed. Okay, the front, and you'll notice that it's left body front, right body front. So that's right and left as the person is wearing it. So the right side of the person wearing it, that's the right, left is the left. Okay, here's the pieces that are going to have the grommets that are going to attach to the back. But you can cut these out, punch the stitch holes here, 3/16 holes grommet. Let me show you where those are. So that's this piece right here. Okay, so you're just going to cut that out, punch out the holes, punch out these holes, put in the grommets, and then well, let's get to this piece now. But that's what this piece is, and this piece right here. Okay, let's move on to the front two pieces. So, like I said, if you want to do something decorative, you can do something decorative. That's not a problem. But so this is again, before this is the top. We're still working on the medium size. Here's the top piece. This is the right body front. And this piece right here is to reinforce the grommets. And these are 1/4 inch hole grommets. So make sure you cut these out, punch out the holes for the stitching, cut out this piece, and this is it's just a exact over the layover copy. You just put it right on top. And let me show you that. So here's that piece. So again, you just cut this out. You cut out the reinforcement, and I put the reinforcement on the inside. You can put it on the outside if you want. Depends on how you want it to look. But you can see here, I put it on the inside. and then the 1/4 inch hole grommets, and stitch it, the stitching here to the side piece. And you can see that along right here as well. So the grommets, this whole reinforcement piece, you know, you don't have to, depending on how thick your leather is. You might not need this this reinforcement. I felt like it did. This is like a 3 to 4 ounce black, and it's medium but almost soft temper. And I can't remember if I got this from Acadia Leather or Springfield, but it's really nice. I like it a lot. I don't remember where I got it. But then same thing, the mirror side. You have this. Here's the mirror side of this one, right? So this is for the left side, and it's the same thing. You're going to, you know, cut these out, cut out the reinforcement piece here, put it together, and then stitch it, and grommet it, and then stitch this to this side, and that's it. So for the corset, very straightforward, easy build, easy to cut out, doesn't take too long to do. I used, you'll see in the pictures, I used black lace for both the sides and then for the front. I debated using like a black ribbon, like a silk black ribbon. I think would look pretty cool on that as well. So maybe I'll do that in the next one. Okay, so next up is the belt. And let me get all the paperwork on that ready. Hold on a second. Okay, up next now we have the hip belt, to hang off the accessories. And it is a belt in the sense that you can kind of adjust it, kind of similar with the lacing. It also has some buckles on the back, and I'll get to those. So like the other one, this one's labeled the large, because this is the larger of the large size of the hip belt. There's a medium and a small as well. But so very similar to the corset in that you're going to cut these out. The first piece here has a reinforcement with the grommets. So let me show you that. Is this piece here. Okay, so you just cut it out, cut out the reinforcement piece, put it over the top, stitch that, and I use saddle stitching, of course, and then grommet it just to give it a little bit more strength. You can use eyelets. I find the eyelets sometimes will slip out of the holes when you're putting some tension on it, but you know, that's optional. Anyway, so here's piece 1. Okay, piece 2 is going to get cut out. Same, it just goes right next to it. This also has a reinforcement piece for stuff that's going to hang off the belt, and I'll get to that here in a second. But also, these are marked. This is number 2, has the stitching holes. This is the left body. Same format. This goes on the left side of the person's body that's wearing it. That's how I organize these. But number 2 is right here. Is this piece right here. And I've put the stitching, you'll see number 2 goes on top of 1 and also on top of 3. So it sticks out that way. I didn't do any kind of layered, complicated layering. But either way, here it is. Number 2, it has the reinforcement here, stitched into place, just to give it a little bit more, because of, you know, I was, both for aesthetics, just for the look of it, I like it, but also if you ever have anything hanging really heavy off of this, you want it nice and sturdy. It's not gonna fold or anything. But yeah, that right there is number 2. Okay, number 3 of the left body. This has the stitching that attaches to number 2, has some holes, some rivet holes for the buckles, and I'll show you those here in a second. But yeah, cut it out, punch the holes, punch the rivet holes, cut out a couple of buckles, the buckle straps here, and that's this right here. Okay, so number 3 again goes underneath number 2, and then you cut it out, stitch it, and here's those straps. And it's very straightforward. Just cut it out, rivet it down. Make sure you have the holes there. I would, like I have in other videos, measure these hole placement. And if you need to make this piece right here, like the strap, longer, just to account for, if this is the large size and you need an extra inch, this is an easy place to extend this out a little bit, just for comfort and ease of wearing it. Just make this a little bit longer and then punch out a few extra holes. That when you buckle it, it'll be a little bit separated. And here's what I'm talking about. So here's the other side, the number 3 on the right side of the body. But here's the buckles, and I have a regular roller bar buckle and a little black strap keeper here. So let me get that attached real quick. Hold on. Okay, so here it is buckled up. Yeah, just some minor adjustments. Like I said, extend this as you need to. But this is that side, and then the other sides here, for 1, 2, and 3 on the right body side, it's just a mirror image. So here's 3, here's 2, and there's 1, and that's how it looks here. We have the third panel stitched to the second one, and the second one stitched to the first one. And this one also has, just like the other one, has this reinforcement piece here, stitched to it with 3/16 hole grommets. Okay, so you'll see that as well on the model in the pictures. But again, straightforward, easy to do, easy to cut out, and easy to adjust this, or just pick the right size. In the pattern, these are they're interchangeable, so you can use, like, this one's the large belt, that was the medium corset. So in case you need to mix match them, feel free. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the pieces that come down off of the belt that are made for different attachments. Okay, let me get those ready. Hold on. Okay. Here we go with the attachments for this hip belt. So the width right here is about 1.5 inches wide. So you can have, there's plenty of room if you want to use thicker straps for these attachments, for these holsters. In the pattern, these are 1 inch wide, 1 inch wide. So use 1 inch buckles, and so you're gonna cut this out, punch the holes. And the holes here, along with the buckle, allow higher placement on the hip or lower placement on the hip. And you'll see that in the pictures as well. But let me show you, cutting these out, here's what you get. So here's one of the pieces. And I used snaps on the buckle piece, just so I could get this on and off of the belt easier. Without having the buckle permanently attached. If you riveted this to the belt, to the hip belt here, then it would be always there. Okay, so as far as putting this thing on and off, and mixing usage of this for different outfits, a snap is really easy. So here's the buckle. Here's the piece that's going to extend down from the belt to the thigh, and I put a D-ring on here in case you want to attach something else to it. Totally optional. I mean, you'll see in the pattern, that's what this little tab is right here. It's for attaching the D-ring at the bottom with some rivets. But if you don't want to or don't need that, you don't need to have that there. Okay, so Yeah, the holes here, the little slots, are 1.25 tall, just to allow ease of entry with the strap, which is what this right here. Here's the thigh strap. So if you can imagine, you know, well, I have to imagine, we can just do it. Threading this through and then to an attachment, and then threading it back, and then around the thigh. Okay, so that's how that would be. And then same thing on the left side. So this is the right, this is the left. You don't have to use both. You can use just one of them if you want to use, like, for example, included in the pattern is this little pouch that if you want to use just to store stuff. And so you'd run this through the holster here, and then this would go, it would just attach like that. Let me do that real quick just see it, so you can see it. Okay, so here's this little pouch. I threaded it through with the little tabs here to the back. You can see that just the thigh strap threads through these holes, and then the tabs that are on the pouch. So that's, you know, it just secures it a little bit easier. But like I said, you can move this because there's the various holes. The pouch can move left and right, and then the whole thing can move up and down for better placement on the thigh and to make it more comfortable. Okay, let me show another one real quick. But that is the holster part. Okay, so I'm going to move on to, aside from the pouch, I have a couple more accessories, and let me get to those real quick. Hold on. Okay, so that brings us to the other accessories. There's aside from the pouch. I also have this one for like daggers or throwing knives. Just a couple of things to point out. These are plastic, high density plastic from Amazon, and these ones are actually you know, probably better to use if you're going to like Comic-Con or something like that, because if you have leather or metal throwing knives, they probably won't let you in, or they'll be confiscated, possibly like that. But plastic ones are okay. You know, they're just for show, but I think they go well with this project. I also have the patterns for this one. So there's this one right here, and this one right here. And again, this is pretty straightforward. You're just going to cut out the two pieces, plus the you know, the pieces right here that go over the top. That's what the lightly colored lines, or the lighter lines, are just for placement purposes, so you know where pieces go. I do have some 1/4-inch hole for grommets here at the top, and then the other holes are for rivets for the belt, for the pieces that go underneath right here. So when it goes through the straps to hold, well, let me pull it out real quick and show you. So holding that in place, you're going to have these two belt loops on the back side, and I put these ones farther down than what's on the pattern. So you'll see. So I get it here. So you'll see here that the placement of these belt loops are a little bit higher. I put mine a little bit lower just for the use of my daughter, since she's the one going to be wearing this. So it sits better on her body, but that's up to you. So placement of these, you can be up here or be a little bit lower. Either way, those belt loops, this is what secures it to the thigh piece right here. Just running it through here, running it through the loops, and then back out. So yeah, this one, again, like I said, it's very straightforward. You can cut out those pieces, punch the holes, sew it to here. And I specifically like this piece here because it covers up the tips. I saw a lot online that didn't cover the tips, and so I'm sure they would get snagged on something, or poke your leg or something like that. So that's a nice little additional piece here. So here's this one for knives, or throwing blades or daggers of some sort. I also have included in the pattern is for throwing spikes. So these are throwing spikes like this. Also in the pattern here, let me see right here. So the throwing spikes, the same thing. There's 3 of them. 1/4 inch holes for grommets at the top, 3/16 holes at the bottom for grommets at the bottom. If you want to use this, if you wanted to use these separately with some type of clasp and D-rings off of a different kind of belt, you totally could. That's what makes this this pattern a little bit more versatile. Is that you have pouches and daggers or spikes or anything you really want to. You could even put a gun holster. If you had a pirate pistol that you wanted to sit on here, like I have in some of my other patterns, you could put a pirate pistol on here, on either side really. But anyway, same thing. You're gonna cut these pieces out, sew them down here, and then this also has holes for belt loops in the pattern, or if you want to change the placement of those on this to sit a certain way, also free to do that. It's something I do highly recommend. Kind of measuring placement before finalizing things like the belt loops. Okay, so that's these. That's those. I'm also just for future reference, I'm working on making these available for on a bracer. So on a forearm bracer, being able to put these on, or these. So that's something to look for here coming up. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It was a easy, fun pattern to do. These different elements, getting them ready, getting everything set up, and then measurement out, and finally getting them on and taking pictures. So either way, I would love to see what you want, how you do it and how your outfit turns out. This could look really cool in brown as well. And having two pouches, have a brown and do a different style of ranger or rogue character. It could be pretty cool. All right, well, send me your pics if you have questions. Contact me on Facebook or Instagram or Etsy or TikTok, or you can find me on my website at simplegoodleather.com. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, good luck.